As a clinical psychologist, it baffles me that as the most intelligent species, we sometimes find it hard to learn from our mistakes, especially when it comes to love.
Just respect people.
I don't have to respect you, Alex. We're not together.
I want to help them break free.
Oh, sorry.
Rip that little puppy up.
In this experiment, I'm going to help people escape the cycle of damaging relationships where they make the same mistakes over and over again.
I don't feel as pretty as them.
I give too much of myself away too quickly.
I'm going to confront them by bringing them face to face with their ex-lovers, friends and family to reveal some harsh truths.
Do you think the way you looked was important to him?
Absolutely, yeah.
Too much?
Yes.
I think this might change their lives.
I did make it all about me.
Will it work?
You heard what Dan says, you know it, but do you believe it?
Just like the people coming to see me, I'm willing to give it a try.
I'm Stevie. I'm 34 years old. I'm certainly not tall, dark and handsome, but the tall, possibly dark-spirited. So my dating life started for me pretty much when I was 30. I got married very young. So being a twin, I understood this concept of always sharing or always having someone around. I think that my relationships are ending because I'm divorced, I'm 30, was overweight, here I am.
Today I'm working with Stevie. Stevie's got a mild obsession with social media. This is so common today. It's all about the likes. For us, you could think of it like chocolate or gambling. You get a rush. The problem with sugar and winning money is it becomes addictive. Once you're addicted to something, you start pushing everything else aside. G'day, Stevie.
Hey, mate.
How you going?
Good.
Come on in, grab a seat.
I will.
For Stevie, that social media high is such an important factor that he's losing sight of who he is and what's important in his life. So, Stevie, can you tell me why you're here today?
I'm hard package to sell.
Right.
Yeah.
Why?
Well, the twin factor. There's always this comparison. I mean, when I put on weight, he was still ripped, and everyone was saying, Stevie's the brains, Andrew's the body. The other thing is, sometimes I might let myself do a show or something in the arts.
Yeah.
And that can be a very confusing thing for a partner. It's like, why do you have to do that? You know? It's like, I'm addicted to the crowd. I always look at myself as being the problem.
I'd like to learn that what I'm thinking in my head and what I've gone through and what I've put other people through is maybe not that normal, but it's okay.
Stevie, you'll notice we've got a spare chair here for today. I've done lots of homework and I've found some people who really care about you who we're going to bring in. They're going to share some interesting information on your pattern behaviour and how that impacts you and your relationships.
I got very nervous and half excited.
Firstly, let's start from the beginning.
Yeah.
Tell me about your past relationships.
At 17, I met this girl. We had this friendship, and it just made sense. Like, why aren't we together?
I was very heavily in the church. It was expected that once you find someone, don't live together, but then work towards marriage.
And it just seemed easy. I mean, I'd been always attached at the hip with my brother, so being attached to the hip with a better-looking version of my brother in this girl was better.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Tell me about the marriage.
From the first year, it was very challenging. I was still just discovering myself as a person.
So young.
Went straight into full-time work. Still had these bands on the side, all these little rock star moments where I was touring around.
On top of that confusion, we brought a person into the world, a daughter who's completely innocent.
But then it really sort of hit home that, oh, I got to give this up. Can't do what I want to do. This isn't about me anymore. It's about us.
I'm really hearing you had to sacrifice the dream for responsibility.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a tough call.
Then the 30 thing happened. I was like, I've been living the same year. And all I know of myself is this Christian guy who's married, who's just on a hamster wheel existing. And I was overweight and unhappy, and it sounded like a stereotype, but I was.
So once the divorce happened,
Yeah.
how long were you single for?
I didn't know how to be single.
I had to completely learn this new way of talking to people and presenting myself.
And then I lost all this weight and I became better
Right.
all over.
How much weight did you lose?
30 kilograms.
Wow.
Yeah. So I guess in terms of identity crisis, I was starting all over from my old identity into this new bachelor, this free person.
So you've got divorced.
Yeah.
You've lost 30 kilos.
Yeah.
You're going to rebuild this new person.
Yeah.
Who was your first relationship?
I met this girl in the theatre. She was really young. She was a friend of a guy. They just broke up, and I just had this thing in my head. It's like, oh, if Hayley's ever single, you know, I'd tap that. But I fell for her. So it was like, this is my trophy girlfriend. I'm the drummer in this cool band. I'm performing full time. I don't have to live in the mines by myself. So it was this whole new identity.
Yeah. How long did that relationship run for?
Well, surprisingly, she put up with me for like a year. And then I met this incredible person. Her name was Janie.
Jane?
Yeah, and she'd been on a show or something, and I just wanted to meet her. And as soon as I met her, it's just like, wow.
When I fell in love with Janie, it was the biggest fall ever.
I think the problem is when you have something so good, you try and squeeze it, hang on to it too tight.
Yeah.
I think it was like strangling her. Like, I want you.
Yes.
You're awesome. Please be mine.
And our relationship lasted probably about 2 months.
Stevie, you've given me a fantastic global perspective of what's going on with you and your life and your relationships. What I'd like to do is try and hear from somebody else who knows you well, who can give us their view. Stevie's ex-wife, Lisa, has watched him on his journey from a talented, insecure young man to an overly self-aware adult. The problem with this is Stevie's put superficial things over and above the important things like Lisa, his child, and special family events. They've worked hard since then on their relationship, and Lisa thought it best, rather than confront Stevie today, to write him a letter. Steve, one thing I do recognise in you is that you regard superficial things in people more highly than meaningful things. Though being attracted to your partner is important, looks aren't everything. You tend to miss a lot of what is really important because you're always somewhere else in that busy head of yours. It was incredibly lonely for me, and it has also been for your daughter, who always feels that when you're with her, you're prioritising everybody over her, including girlfriends. I think you have a dichotomy of self-worth. One is inflated and one is truly low. The low self-worth seems to propel you into this rock star mentality. I do feel that lifetime of attention you've received because you were born an identical twin has caused you to think that your partner owes you the same amount of attention. And if they don't, you look for it elsewhere or you seek it in forms such as social media. And remember, you have a daughter that thinks you're the greatest. That is a fantastic reason to feel worthy and achieved in this life. Lisa.
Yeah, I agree with some of that. Most of it, yeah.
How did that feel to hear that?
Sucks. Because it's true.
I haven't been present, and I have been caught up in the game of building a social profile.
I got addicted to the way that I felt on stage when I was playing instruments. So I was always seeking that.
Right.
So outside of the 9 to 5, being a father at home, I was like out playing at a gig and, you know, having drunk girls in your face and getting photos with them. And it gives you this inflated self-worth that
Yes.
I'm somebody. So there's been a lot of disconnect from those special moments
Okay.
with my daughter, with Lisa.
So what I wanted to do was bring in somebody who hasn't dated you, but could bring in another perspective into your dating life.
Okay.
I had no idea who that would be.
My name is Alexander. I am one of his close friends. Yeah.
Alex has known Stevie while he's been in a relationship, but he's also known him as a single man. Alex wants Stevie to know that his obsession with social media not only impacts those romantic relationships, but at times it's impacted their friendship too. Alex has suggested if Stevie could pull back on his image obsession, then he might do a little better in the romance department and might be better for their friendship.
If we don't say flat out what's going on, then he will just keep doing that kind of thing.
I wonder if Stevie will listen to Alex. If he can, there's a great possibility he's going to unlock some of those bad habits.
Hey, bro.
Then it was Alex, and I was like, of course.
I think he was actually a little bit, he was quite glad to see me there.
Can you tell me about Stevie?
I think Stevie almost lives in the shadow of his brother a little bit. It's a shame to see because I know you and you're a cool guy. You're not just a twin, you're Stevie Mac.
Alex, does Stevie have a type of girl that he's attracted to?
Yeah, she's sweet and she's kind and all that kind of stuff, but she has to be a dancer. But she has to be rake skinny.
The reasons I told him I only date models and dancers was purely because I was trying to give us both a direction.
Maybe it's like the relationship isn't an authentic thing, it's more just a thing.
Honestly, what do you think he's getting wrong?
When we're with other people, I can tell that Stevie is thinking about somebody else watching him. So he'll sit a certain way and he'll want to look cool instead of just being an idiot with your mates. I don't think you're relaxed, man. I think you're not present.
It was quite annoying to see that he knew I was trying to not be there. I wasn't, again, present. I was more sort of, oh, this is going to look a certain way, so let's get photos of us together. And it's just so lame.
So Stevie's got pretty big social media presence. Who's the ginger fox?
He just is so obsessed with having that kind of fame.
What sort of images do you see him put up there?
Oh, it's modeling stuff. I think that's fine, but it's almost like you're selling a little piece of your soul doing it. I don't think he sees that as kind of damaging to his personality. Deep down, that's not you, and that's not what you want to do.
One of the things we find in psychology, we talk about our external projections, that we think we're sending out a certain message, and it's coming from a good place. What we don't see is, wow, the other person might not receive the message in the same way we're sending the message. There's a disconnect.
I think Stevie's taking in about like 80% of it. Kind of want to reach across and just shake him and just be like, Stevie, like, this is some strategies for you, okay?
What do you honestly think Stevie needs to do to have a successful relationship and find happiness?
I don't know, man. I've only found it kind of for myself recently, and that was only after I just started letting go. You know, you don't have to do the modeling thing. I think you know that. You can do it, but maybe do what you want to do and you'll find someone through that. I want to see Stevie find someone that puts him first and he puts them first in a way that it brings out the best in him and he doesn't have to be someone else. I want him to have that.
It's kind of eye-opening. So, wow, I'm that guy. Well, I want to fix that. Yeah.
So Alex is a really good friend of yours. How did it feel hearing some of those things?
It wasn't the best, but I know that it's all true. Just be with your mates, be present, and that's really the direction I want to take. So it's really good advice.
Great. So Stevie, we've heard from your loved ones who've known you before your transformation. Now I'd like to hear from someone who's known you after your transformation and only knows you as the ginger fox. Let's see what they've got to say.
I'm Janie, I'm 28 years old, and we dated for about 1 month.
It took a lot of courage for Janie to come here today. She knows Stevie still has deep feelings for her, but she felt it was important to tell him the truth.
Hopefully he doesn't cry or get angry. I don't know.
You see, we often hold back from the truth in relationships. We do it to protect our partners. The truth here is Janie liked Stevie, the original Stevie, but as he became a social media image-obsessed man, she began to lose interest. Hi, Janie. How are you going? I'm Cliff. Come on in. Thanks for coming.
It's been a long time since I've seen her in person. When she came in, I didn't know what to do.
Hey,
It was weird, but it wasn't as hard as I thought.
Why don't you tell me about your relationship with Stevie?
It was so refreshing to meet someone and have them be so open about their feelings. Like, I feel like so many people before you that I'd met, like, they play it cool and they don't want to admit that they even like you a little bit. And Stevie just straight away was just complimentary, and it felt amazing. So that felt really good. And I never, ever doubted that you cared about me. You know, I never felt insecure about the relationship at all, which was really nice. Yeah.
I was just all in straight away. It was Romeo and Juliet for me.
So what made you break up with him?
It did feel at times a little bit codependent. Very quickly I could tell that it was, to him, it was a we and not a him and me anymore. I've always kind of wanted a relationship to look very much like two separate people walking alongside, and it felt more like it needed to be together. I think that it could have a lot to do with the fact that he's been a twin. He's perhaps never sort of had his own identity because there was the two of them. I also thought that Stevie maybe cared about fame and attention.
Those are the things that I accept, but they're not nice to hear.
Stevie and I talked a lot today about identity. Do you think the way you looked and your public appearance was important to him?
Absolutely, absolutely, yeah.
Right, too much?
Yes.
Janie, are you in a relationship now?
Yes. Yeah.
Right, how's that going?
Yeah, good, thank you.
Yeah. And is it more like that dualness?
Definitely, yeah.
Stevie, I know how much you cared about Janie.
Yeah.
How did it feel hearing that she's in a relationship now?
It's not great.
How long ago did you guys break up?
A year.
A year.
Yeah.
I kind of realised that we weren't a good fit for each other.
What Janie said before was that you're honest and thoughtful and open. But what I also heard Janie say, we've got to tone down the public persona and spend more time in the private persona, because it sounds to me like that's the Stephen that she actually fell in love with, not the social media Stephen, but the true essence.
I don't think I quite understood that until now.
And I think probably time to pack up the Stevie and Janie show and leave it in the past for what it was and get on with rebuilding the new improved Stephen.
I do like to think that, yeah, he can be in a beautiful, healthy relationship soon, and I know that he's going to meet someone else that he cares about.
I don't know if I can move on from Janie. Nope, I don't know.
Has this given you some closure now?
Maybe it's just shown me that the things that I thought would impress her just pushed her away. And that's a big understanding. So it makes me happy to know how black and white that is.
That's a massive take-home point, isn't it?
Yeah.
That the girl that I truly loved was actually pushed away by the very things I presented to her, which were not the real me anyway.
Yeah.
Now, you know and understand that the true Stephen, that's the thing everybody's attracted to.
Yeah, I need to be okay with that.
Yeah, they see right through it. She saw right through it and she said, I didn't care about the rock star. I didn't care about the social media guy. I like this sensitive, kind, honest, present man.
The crisis that I have is that if I'm not that person, not seen as this, don't have that girlfriend, don't have that money, am I okay with being this?
You called yourself a hard package to sell. I don't see that. The issue I'm hearing is one of identity, okay? And it comes from a place that makes sense. I'm born a twin. Without getting to work out who I am in this world, I'm married. I'm a dad. I'm divorced. I lose 30 kilos. I'm a rock star with a girlfriend. I have a new girlfriend. And it always is the next identity, my next reinvention of who I am. But these identities, these reinventions, they're not you.
Yeah.
They're who am I with? Who am I with that person? Who am I in this place?
And that's ultimately what's been the reason why I've ended up alone.
You know how to work. You know how to commit. The problem is you're committing to what you think the world wants of you. But what I want you to commit to is you, and not the ginger fox, not with the girlfriend, not the rock star, the you, the essence of you. You see, we're playing a risky game when we set up our identity as an attachment to something external. Because if someone takes that external thing away, what are we going to do? We're going to hold on. And then we're left. We're left alone, wondering who we are. You've been given one of the greatest gifts in the world, unconditional love from your daughter. Like Lisa said, your daughter thinks you're the greatest. It's a pretty fantastic reason to feel worthy and appreciative of life. I've heard your wife, I've heard your friend, I've heard Janie. I'm telling you the same thing.
Yeah.
You can do it.
Okay.
Now it's time to just be Stephen and be cool with that, so it is a relief.
So I'm going to give you a few tasks.
Okay.
I want you to take them away with you today and I want you to put them into action, okay?
Okay.
All right. I want you to limit your social media usage, that addiction to approval. Be present with your friends and your family, mobile phone off. And leave the past in the past now. It's time for a new, improved version of you.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm going to take on board what Cliff has given me.
Give me a hug.
Right. Hugging up.
Be less active socially, be more present, and just really concentrate on the essence of myself and not the expectation and perception of me.
I just hope I had the real Stephen sitting with me today, that he's going to take on what was presented to him, that he's prepared to do the hard work to become a better father, a better friend, a better romantic partner, that he won't focus on those superficial, image-obsessed ideas. He needs to unlock that trigger, one in the back of his brain that can bring him to a happier, brighter and more successful future.